demonstration, we will take a look at how you can use the Suggest Vendor Payments batch job with an available amount. So first, let's open up our payment journal. And for this demonstration, we will be using the batch general. Now first, let's take a look at the Suggest Vendor Payments batch job without using the available amount, and let's see how many vendor ledger entries are suggested by Business Central. So under Prepare, you have Suggest Vendor Payments. There are a few different options available here. We will leave it them as they are filled in by default at this moment. If you want, you can of course filter out on the vendor, but for this demonstration we would like to see all of the open vendor ledger entries, of course within the last payment date suggested, which we will be using the 30th of September. So by clicking OK, you will see that the journal lines are automatically filled in and that we have different lines for each of our vendors, 10,000 through 50,000 vendor numbers. And if we scroll a little bit more to the right, you can also see the amounts that are available for each line. Now, if you want to get a view on the total amount of this batch payment, then you can go through Home, Post, and print out a test report to get a preview of the total batch. So just click Preview. And if we zoom in a little bit, you will see that the total amount is a little over $60,000 US. Now, if you don't have that much money available at this moment and you would like to spend only $25,000, for example, then you can use the available amount function in the Suggest Vendor Payments batch job. For that, Business Central will take a look at vendor priorities and only suggest the vendors first that have the highest priority. So for this demonstration, I've already filled in the priorities on the vendor card. So let's take a look at that setup. So on our vendors and vendor 10,000, you will see that this one has given a priority of 2. So those will be the second in line to receive payments. The vendor with the first priority is vendor 20,000, first up consultants. So whatever amounts he has open will be suggested first in our payment journal. Vendor 30,000 has priority 2 as well as 40,000 and 50,000 vendors. So let me first go back to the payment journal and delete the suggestion that we got from our first example. Now let's run the Suggest Vendor Payments again. Go through Prepare, Suggest Vendor Payments, and if we click on Show More on the Options File tab, you will see that you have here a field that's called Available Amount. So let's try to get a suggestion up to $25,000. Once you fill in this amount, you will see that Business Central will automatically set this boolean to true, which is the use vendor priority. So let's run the job again, and you will immediately see that you have less lines than we had before. Only for a couple of vendors and not all of their invoices as we had before. So let's run the test report again through Home and Test Report. The total amount of this payment journal, and let me zoom in first, is now $24,000 and a few additional dollars. So definitely less than our $25,000 that we suggested as being available.